Well, you know, the biggest wealth owners in this country is that baby boom generation that started working right after World War II and raised their families, worked hard for the last 30 years, and managed to combine savings of $800,000 to $1 million on their $30,000 to $40,000 a year salary. They scrimped and saved and put away this mountain of money. And now these guys, these 85 million baby boomers that are retiring, will have their entire wealth, talk about the middle class, reduced in value by 2/3 with the stroke of a virtual pen. So in a span of 24 months, they're going to be able to wipe out a lifetime of savings by the most prolific generation that we've seen in 150 years in this country.
The private banks own and control the corporate propaganda channels. It's not even media, and they're on there saying, depression, if you don't do this, it's over if you don't do this. Imagine if they told the public the truth. We're taking 2/3 of your savings. We're devaluing your investments and your dollar. We're destroying your retirement and your future. I mean, people think the public's already mad. They're going to be hopping mad. And so here's the $64 million question. It used to be the 64,000, but now with inflation, 64 million. What is going to happen a year or two down the road when the yuppies find out that they were screwed and this was a setup?
Well, we're going to be yelling at the greedy oil companies and the greedy car dealers and, boy, those nasty people at the grocery store raising their prices. The last person we'll point a finger at is the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. And I don't think our Take Back the Fed movement will be successful. I believe they sneer at us, like we said in the last segment. They look down upon us, and they are so blatant now. They don't even put on a good con anymore, Alex. They used to hide this stuff. Now it's just so out in the open. I'm reminded of what Carol Quigley said. And my colleague Matt, who incidentally wears an InfoWars bumper sticker on his car, like a badge of honor, drives it around New York City, flashes it in the cops' faces. He's one of your stalwart soldiers. He says, Carol Quigley's book said, when the velvet glove is removed from the iron fist, maybe then the people will understand. But until they come right out and in your face tell you they don't care what you think, the majority of Americans are going to act like the sheep that they are, leave themselves to be sheared, and gladly grow some more fur for the next cutting.
Unbelievable. And they're doing it. They are doing it right now. But I am heartened that polls are showing 90+%, even with the financial terrorism and fear-mongering of do this or else, that we call the public sheeple. They figured out that pretty much anything the media says is a lie or spin. And so it is going to, I mean, I agree, the media is going to blame the shopkeepers and the car dealers, if any of that even exists. But I think it's going to break down even faster than that.
Well, you could be right, and I'll tell you, with you and your bullhorn and then your soldiers like Matt out there spreading the word, more and more people are catching on. I'm just afraid it's too little, too late, because the bulk of Americans are all shareholders in the Federal Reserve System. You know, the percentage of Americans that actually own tangible money, gold and silver coins, you're talking 1 or 2%. The other 98%, while they may even be against the entire system, they still keep 100% of their wealth tied up in the Federal Reserve. So they're nothing but shareholders in the system. I suggest if people really want to make a difference, they need to start force-feeding their Federal Reserve notes back into the system and taking out what the Constitution defines as money, and that's gold and silver coin. Once they start doing that, Alex, there's no way to stop it.
All right, let me bring that up now, because that was one of my next questions, and I want to tell folks about all the great information you have on your site and books and materials, because I want people to check it out. It's very impressive and totally on target, really cuts through all the minutia and gets right down to the facts. Already you can't get buffaloes. The U.S. Mint is saying it can't get gold to make coins. Kitco is sold out of most of their coins. You can't find gold really anywhere at spot anymore. Silver is running out, but artificially the central banks admit that they are suppressing the price of metals. But I don't even see them being able to suppress this more than just a few months. I mean, it's already gone up somewhat. So I wanted to ask you, about that, because we're already running out of gold and silver right now with just a fraction of the public getting wise. The moment even just a few more percentage points of the know-it-all yuppies figure out they've been conned and try to get out of their banks and stocks, there is going to be no gold or silver anywhere. Can you talk about that?
Indeed. Front page of the Financial Times Network yesterday talked about that very issue. And what we're seeing is a disconnect between the physical market and the paper or electronic market. And while you can buy all of the physical gold that you want and pay a premium above what it would cost you if you were buying electronic or paper, that spread is just widening every day. Now, there's a handful of smart guys out there, and in fact, one of them sponsors your show, that put stuff away for their clients ahead of time. And that's what you need. You need dealers who lean against the wind. When everyone's selling, they're buying, and then when it's time to buy, they're ready with inventory to sell. So you might have to look a little bit, but there are sharp dealers out there who still have inventory. I know we loaded in a position, and I'm pretty sure Midas did as well. So you can get stuff if you go to the right source.
Absolutely. Midas Resources, in fact, has gold at basically below what it's even selling for now, and they've got it. It's just that local coin dealers in Austin are sold out or very low. I go to other places. I see reports in newspapers about gold and silver sold out in shops all over. So definitely the smaller dealers are really having a lot of trouble, and only the bigger dealers and people that have a lot of sources are able to get it. How high do you see gold going in the next 6 months?
Well, our model shows gold peaking out at $1,600 in the next 6 months before we are in a sell mode. So we're still buying with both hands, and I wouldn't be a seller until gold hits $1,600. On the silver side, triple. I think silver has to hit $34 an ounce before I'll be a seller. So until then, I'm buying.
Well, isn't gold performing in the last 7 years at like 30%, and the stock market is losing money?
Yeah, you're right about that. If you look at just a 7-year window, you'll find gold probably outproduced every other investment except the most speculative and risky. And the best part of it is that once it's in your control, it's almost impossible for anyone to do anything to dilute the value of your money. That is your money now. All you have to do is protect it. But, if there's a catch to everything, the catch to this is when you take physical possession of gold, you have to protect it. You have to guard it like it's cash, and most Americans aren't willing to accept that responsibility. So I think you still have a window. If you haven't accumulated any gold or silver yet, you have a little window here before the rest of the consuming public figures out what's going on.
But, boy, when they do, look out, ladies and gentlemen. Andy Gause is our guest, and we're going to come right back with our final segment with him on the other side and take a few calls from Tim, Charles, and Ben. Stay with us. All right, I should have gone to your calls earlier, but just got into all these questions and discussions with Andy Gause. Really appreciate him joining us. Let's go ahead and talk to Tim in Georgia. You're on the air with our guest.
And the stock market.
Hey, Alex, when you said about when Ventura explained it to me like I'm a 6-year-old, when I'm trying to get people to wake up to the Federal Reserve, I'll use the analogy. I'll say, hey, I'm the bank of me, and you two guys have banks, and I'm the Federal Reserve, and I loan you $100 at interest. I own you $100 at interest, say 10%, and now you guys owe me $210. Where does the $10 come from? And nobody can answer the question. And I think the answer is you have to borrow it into circulation at more interest. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yeah, they never create the interest when they create the money, and so that creates a constant demand for money that's greater than the supply. That's what gives these worthless pieces of paper value in the first place.
And that's what gives them so much power.
That's right.
This is a parlor trick, folks. This is a parlor trick.
So without interest, they don't have their magic bullet then.
That's right. If you took away the interest and just started issuing money without interest, pretty soon the worthlessness of it would be quickly revealed because there would be more supply than demand.
Exactly. Look, The Wizard of Oz was a popular anti-banker play that went all over the country for decades before it was made into a movie. That's all about the little man behind the curtain, the yellow brick road, the Emerald City. It's all about the fraud.
Mm-hmm. No question about it.
That little analogy enables me to challenge people on their base paradigm there, and then nobody can tell you where it comes from.
But then we have the financial minions right down to the locals who all think they're part of the system. And see, it's an inside joke. The guys on radio and TV, they're laughing at you. I was watching CNBC yesterday, and they're there like con artists, giggling and smirking and winking at each other and smiling at you through the teleprompter. I mean, it's about suckering you. It's such a big, disgusting joke. Your comments on that, Andy?
Yeah, well, here's where I get traction on the Federal Reserve. I point to their 47 Learjets and their $300 million art collection with a full-time curator to take care of it, and the fact that all of this is done without appropriating money from the Treasury. They simply create the money to buy this stuff. And for that reason alone, they should be forced to come to Congress for appropriations every time they want to spend money instead of being able to just spend it out of thin air. I can even get the most hardened MBA company guy to agree with me on that point. Once you got them there, it's easy step from there to nationalizing the Fed.
That's right. People are in a self-imposed mental prison.
800-468-2646. Mention Alex Jones, or they're going to be looking for $29 out of you. So Alex Jones gets you this package, Protecting Your Wealth, audio CD and pamphlet, and 3 issues of my newsletter.
All right. It's a great newsletter.
Suggested the Aldrich Plan, brought us the Federal Reserve Act.
And they're doing the same thing now with an even bigger global banking system. They create the crisis and then pose as the saviors and get more power. Andy, thanks for coming on with us.